Hello folks, welcome back to my channel. Well, I'm feeling a little bit nervous tonight because I'm going to have my first attempt at doing a stars time-lapse video. I've used lots of time-lapses in my other astro videos when I'm doing setting up and watching the sunsets and stuff, and a few on my walking videos, but I've never actually attempted a stars time-lapse. As you can see here, the conditions are less than perfect at the moment, but I'm hoping that it's going to clear, and it should do according to the weather forecast. So yeah, I hope you'll join me and see whether I get any success. My name's John and I make videos on camping, walking and astronomy. If you like what you see in this video, then please check my channel out, as you may find others that interest you there. But in the meantime, let's crack on with this video. So as I said earlier, this is my first go at doing a time lapse, and to maximise my chances of success, I'm using two different cameras. I'm going to have two stabs at it more or less at the same time. The first camera is going to be a vlogging camera, which is my Canon G7x, and that has a time-lapse function built into it, so you should be able to just press the button and off you go. And the second option is my DSLR camera, and the intention's to take a couple of hundred, maybe 10-second exposures and stitch them together to form a star lapse video. The DSLR camera is actually mounted onto a Star Adventurer, which in turn is mounted onto a tripod. For the purposes of this exercise, to get a time-lapse video, I'm not actually turning the Star Adventurer on. It's just I haven't got sort of two tripods, one to put my vlogging camera on and one to put my DSLR on. Although it's cleared slightly, the conditions tonight aren't exactly ideal. We've got an almost full moon that's rapidly rising at the moment, and also, although the clouds cleared a bit, there seems to be a very thin veil of cloud, and the trouble is I can only really spot two stars in the sky. All the sort of fainter ones are all obscured partly by the moon washing the sky out and partly by the thin veil of cloud. So I think it's going to be fairly challenging tonight, particularly for my vlogging camera, because I think I can do some editing to the individual exposures on the DSLR, but I don't really know how to do much with the video that's going to come out of the vlogging camera. On the plus side though, I managed to get a very short video of the moon using my phone, and yeah, I managed to see the face of the man in the moon in the video, so I'm a little bit childishly pleased with that. So I guess we better get cracking then. The moon's getting higher and higher by the minute and washing out more and more of the sky. So yeah, I'll set the cameras running now and take an hour's worth of exposures on each, keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best. Afternoon folks, well it's now the next day and I've managed to get all of the information off both cameras, and both produced, surprisingly enough to me, a couple of half decent videos. The Canon G7x vlogging camera basically worked out all the settings for itself. It seemed to be taking something like 5-second exposures, and I've got no idea what the ISO was or anything like that, but it basically generated about 10 seconds worth of video covering a period of an hour. The DSLR shots were basically programmed up by me. I took about 200 10-second exposures with 10-second intervals between each one. The idea being to generate enough footage to get around an hour's worth, and a video at the end lasting somewhere around 8 or 10 seconds. So what I could do with the DSLR pictures was to use two functions within Adobe's Camera Raw filter. One is a dehaze function, which helps you see through the cloud fundamentally, to a certain degree at any rate, and the other was a clarity feature to try and bring up what stars I could actually see, to bring them out a bit more. Those changes were applied to every single one of the 200 or so exposures that I took, which isn't quite as onerous a task as it appears. In Adobe Lightroom there's something called batch processing that you can do, where you make a change to one photograph and then Adobe will apply the same changes to the other 100 or 200, however many you select, pictures. So that's what I did to those images to minimize the effects of the light pollution from the moon and the thin veil of cloud. Once all those pictures have been processed, I put them into Dropbox, brought them into my phone, and then used an app called Time Lapse, I think it is, where you basically put the photos into Time Lapse, press a button and it will turn it into a nice video for you a minute or so later. And much to my surprise, first time I've ever used this, it all worked out rather well. On the Canon G7x vlogging camera, this did all the internal processing itself and it just comes up with a video. You don't get access to the shots that make that video. Now the problem with the videos, just a pure video, is I don't know whether it's possible to use things like dehaze and clarity filters on a video. Certainly not with the editing software that I use, but I'm doing it all at a fairly basic level. So I kind of had to take the video as it was off the camera, and the most I could do was just do a kind of little tweak on the contrast and brightness and that sort of thing. So as expected, the results from the DSLR were slightly better than the results that came from the vlogging camera. But the process of creating the DSLR video is much more complex compared to simply pressing a button on the vlogging camera and letting it do it all for itself. Now I've got a suspicion that had the sky been darker, i.e. had the moon not been around, and had I not had this thin veil of cloud, I think the results from the two videos would have actually been very similar. So I'm actually dying to try out the vlogging camera on a much clearer moon-free night, just to see what I get. So although in the vlogging camera versus DSLR battle, if you like, I think the DSLR produced a better video. I think for the sheer simplicity of producing a time-lapse video, the vlogging camera kind of wins out there. So I think I'll call the result a tie between the two of them, and as I say, I look forward to having another go with the vlogging camera. Really what I want to be able to do is get to a point where I can take a time-lapse video of the sort of Milky Way moving across the sky. So I'm going to get a lot of practice in between now and next summer, and yeah, I'll look forward to giving that a go. But I'm going to put the two videos up now. They're kind of joined together. The first half of the video is off the vlogging camera and the second half is from the DSLR, but I'll annotate each halves and then you can see which one you prefer. But yeah, in the meantime, I hope you enjoy that video. Thanks very much for watching if you've got this far, and I'll see you next time. Take care.